cheating on me for that, for like a reason. Like, she didn't know about PTSD. She just wanted, she had this idea, she had this story, and I don't mind doing that stuff. It was just really weird that, like, she just cold turkey ghosted me whenever, like, I couldn't, like, beta anymore. Because, like, we'd been going back and forth for a while, and she was talking to me about stuff that wasn't just fanfiction. Like, but that was, like, a while ago. Like, we had to start homeschooling kiddo, I got cancer, like, a bunch of shit happened, like, in a row at the same time. And I was kind of like, well, that kind of sucks. Maybe she's just busy finding a new beta. And then, like, I tried for a while going through that. And I was telling her, maybe there needs to be another person too. Yeah, yeah, it was like an avalanche. And, like, eventually I was like, I can't reliably do this anymore. I mean, like, it wasn't just that either. I had to stop writing entirely for, like, years after that. It's why, like, the first story on my Medium account is just like me playing, because I didn't even like know the audience on Medium. I just knew that I needed to like do something just to get it going after like years of not writing, because I was like, okay, I've just been cheated on. All of my avenues to support myself have been cut off over the years. Um, I need to reclaim some things, because not only do I not have the way to support myself, I've basically given up pretty much everything that I enjoy. It's also why I started streaming, because it's scheduled playtime. This is like a schedule, so that those times where everything gets so busy, where it would be like, hey, I don't have time to do something that I enjoy doing. Yeah, because there would be like months where I like wouldn't touch a game, and or like paint or anything. And like uh no writing, no painting, no nothing. I was just so perpetually exhausted and like absolutely beyond mental limits. Yeah, it's still not great. We're just stuck on this screen. But yeah, no, I was just so tired because because kiddo can be pretty intense actually. So like my stepson had like a bunch of, oh yeah, the depression is, but that's not what I was. I had enough people thinking that I was going through that, but I mean even to the point where I was like, is this depression? And the doctor was like, even if it is, I can't give you the medication for it. Because of other health issues that cropped up that followed the cancer from, yeah. So my kidneys are damaged from the radiation, so like they can't give me antidepressants. Um, but yeah. Well, they're also damaged from things that I went through as a kid, the abuse and stuff, but they didn't notice until after the cancer. Yeah, yeah, that's balls. So yeah, I, but I have an autoimmune disorder that can simulate depression. So they're not actually sure whether or not it's depression or if it's my autoimmune disorder. So that's fun. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. Oh, mess. It's a mess. Um, yeah, so they don't even know. And then my PCP keeps on putting down that I have anxiety instead of PTSD, despite having records where it is confirmed that I have the diagnosis, that I have been diagnosed with PTSD. So there's also that, like, they keep on putting down that I have anxiety now, and I'm like, I do not have anxiety. It's like my physical doctor thinks that they know better. And I'm like, no, I have medical trauma contributing to that. Like, my abusers used the medical and mental health systems to systematically harm me, and I was convinced that I was nuttier than a fruitcake. No, than a nut cake or whatever. A squirrel. And, yeah. I have trauma, obviously. Not just from that, but depression. Not sure if I cannot do things because of one or the other. Yep. Hmm. I have a friend with both autism and ADHD, and I feel like that gave them a superpower, made them like a supercomputer for a brain, and I want that, not the combination of autism and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I want that instead. What they describe still sounds like it has its challenges, but it sounds a whole hell of a lot better than what I deal with. So I'm working on a series trying to like explain autistic frameworks to neurotypical people, and I had to run because I'm trying to stay like a couple like articles ahead, and like I had to run the one talking about like what autism looks like in me in particular, so that people that don't know actually have a framework, just using myself as an example. And I had to run that through an AI and tell it to like help me take out the stuff that was essentially just read like it was trauma processing, because I can't even talk about my own childhood without like so so much trauma. Because like after my mom died, my entire childhood was trauma. My grandmother was evil. Okay. Neurotypical people, yeah, I admit that they are a little weird. But like I set out to try and understand them. I wanted to know why all the weird shit happens. And I found out a lot of things, and I still learn new things. It's like I just spend my entire life studying to try and figure it out. Only for like somebody 10 years younger than me to notice something in particular, and I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. I'm adding that. Like, we're all just learning at different levels. To be fair though, like I went deep into like self learning about like psychology, sociology, and all the things. It's the lying about everything all the time that gets me. Yeah, that gets me too. My mom tried to explain that to me once whenever I was little, because like obviously she knew that I was autistic. Uh, but she like died whenever I was 7 though, so too soon. But she used to try to explain to me, like, she called it like a difference between a white lie and like a normal lie. And I just looked at my mom and said, they're the same thing. I tried like I tried pointing out to people that like quote unquote white lies also hurt people's ability to trust you, and there's like so yeah. Like be polite, but like you don't need to lie. Like where other people say I'm fine, I'll say I'm alive. It's neutral. You don't know if it's good or bad. I'm just here. That's an honest answer, and it's not like oversharing or anything, but it's just honest. I'm alive. That's all it is. Right? I watched VeggieTales, and they had a whole episode about white lies being just as bad. I tried telling somebody about that once, years ago. Whatever, I was still technically like a teenager or something, and they just didn't believe me. And they were in the room watching that with us. That's the thing that gets me. Trying to figure out whether a neurotypical person is lying or if their memory genuinely just decided to filter that out. And considering I grew up with terrible people after my mom died who just gaslit, and my grandfather still tries to gaslight the passed away. It is very difficult to tell where the neurotypical brain begins and the gaslighting does, like where that is, because sometimes they can even influence each other. Like a neurotypical person can gaslight you, can insist on an alternative reality to the point they themselves start to believe it. Oh, yeah, right? All that stuff is like be honest, have integrity, all this stuff. And like you go into like a workplace or something, and like there's all these unspoken things and rules nobody's expected to actually follow. And you're like, then why is it a rule? If like oh my god. And then there's the weird social hierarchy. Like, yeah, they gaslight themselves, yeah. In gaslighting you, they gaslight themselves. So, like, I'm at the point with my grandfather where I don't know if he has gaslit himself into believing his own bullshit or not. And the thing is, if I ever said that to him, that this is why we don't talk, by the way, because he will he doesn't care how much it has to harm me as long as it doesn't threaten the narrative that he wants for the past. And the narrative that he wants completely erases all of my suffering and ignores these still very physical effects that that had on my body. Social hierarchy is done. I think so too. I mean, other than like, kids listen to your parents, like obviously, like in a life or death situation, like because those can happen in life. If your mom says run, you run. Like that's a situation where you're not standing there asking why you run. You just go. uh, Hi, Dear Dragon 31. We were discussing. The game froze. And I can't do anything about it now. So we were just talking. I figured I'm probably gonna end the stream, but I was just hanging back talking. Yeah, we were yapping. Yes, you run when you're told, yeah. I think beyond that, a lot of like the social hierarchy of neurotypicals, the way that they do it is like really weird and shouldn't be done that way. I do think that there are situations where like you need like a designated person to help organize everybody else. Like, everybody's doing a project, they're trying to like say like an example. People want to draw like an extra large like mural thing. But like nobody can see the whole thing. So like you want somebody like looking at it so that like people know ahead of time that they're not leaving like a giant thing. Like that's what a leader should be. You know? Somebody just kind of stepping back and helping people organize. But that's something that people agree on and nobody's better than anybody else in that scenario. Their typical hierarchy is like